Hello, dear friends, and welcome to our podcast Insight Reading Enlightenment, dedicated to sight reading through the lens of the historically informed performance practice. My name is Darina.
I'm Sebastien. And
my name is Baptiste Romain. I think I'm getting into the picture.
Oh yeah.
My name is Baptiste Romain. I'm primarily a medieval and Renaissance performer.
Great. Yes, and how is your ensemble called?
Oh, my ensemble is Le Miroir de Musique, very French name. It comes actually from a medieval treatise written around 1300.
So you just like the name?
I like the name. The treatise is interesting, but I liked the image of the mirror, the fact that music we're playing is the mirror of something that might have been heard 600 years ago. But ultimately, the image gets distorted by this mirror, probably, very likely.
Did you know that all the mirrors they don't reflect the truth? They have different measures, and yes, it's all fake what you see in the mirror.
It's actually a parallel universe. And yes.
But yes, it's a very beautiful image.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So today we are going to improvise. That means
no sight reading today.
Well,
the name of your podcast is a little bit misleading.
Oops.
No, I don't know. Is there a title? I don't know what it's called.
Just for today, we'll make an exception because of you, of course. Yes, and I wanted to talk about improvisation as a lifestyle. Because
it's a lifestyle. That's great.
Because you are a great improviser. I heard you in concerts, and it was great. What does it mean for you? What does improvisation mean for you?
It doesn't mean much, in the sense that improvising is creating music that you have in yourself, but finding a new form for what you have in yourself. So it's not ultimately very different from performing something that somebody wrote. It's just playing your own music in a non-written form and in a way which is, momentary? That is something that happens in the moment, but in fact every performance is the same, just that all the notes of the improvisation are somehow unexpected. If you play a piece written by somebody, the composer expects the notes to come in a certain order and at a certain time, and perhaps all the different parameters.
What do you experience during this process of improvisation while you're improvising?
The pleasure, I guess, is the first thing that I look for. That I am enjoying what I'm doing and creating a form. Also, that's the second.
How do you create a form?
By repeating things. So taking something that I've just played and playing it again in a different way. An instinct, the instinct to play, to repeat, to comment, to contradict, to go against something that was said. In the case of improvisation with other people, you can choose to imitate, to look for the same idea or reinterpret the same idea, or also create something that is a real contrast to what has just been said.
And what are your secrets or tips or methods of your improvisation art when it comes to historically informed improvisation or to contemporary or modern music improvisation style?
It depends which sort of improvisation you're talking about. In the case of improvised counterpoint, for instance, improvised polyphony, then you're really looking at rules. You're really looking at a specific style which follows certain rules, and you have to learn them and integrate them and try to reproduce them, calculate, and all that thing. when you improvise your own music, you are free of all this. You may, of course, avail yourself of what exists, with the rules that have been set by composers of the past or theoreticians. I guess that answers your question. There is one thing that people do in medieval music nowadays, that medieval performers do and probably did in the past, is to accompany monophonic singing. And this is also linked to certain rules, but I guess there's more freedom there because it's monophonic. So you respect a certain scale, monophonic code, so to say. You follow a singer, so there is a relationship, a hierarchical relationship.
How does the improvisation process start for you? Let's say in different styles. For instance, if you are improvising your own music or on a contemporary subject, whatever, and a medieval song.
They start basically the same way, which is looking for the pleasure of making the instrument sound and exploring the possibilities of the instrument, or the sound possibilities that you have. If you're in a church, you're inspired by the sound of the church, or if you're playing on an interesting instrument that somebody has just lent to you, you just want to see what it does and what it can do. Or if you're experimenting with a new tuning, so say on a medieval string instrument, first thing that I'm looking for is the pleasure of finding all these combinations and combining this with your instinct of creating a form.
But how does the first note of your improvisation start? Why?
Why do you drink water when you're thirsty?
Oh, wow. It's a necessity.
It's a necessity. Well, it's basically
the piece has to start.
Same thing, yeah. So it's a similar process. You just want to do it. I remember trying out a very rustic violin in Thomas Drescher's office some years ago. It was made by somebody who'd reconstructed this instrument found somewhere in the mountains in Switzerland. And I was not particularly interested in the discussion around it, but when I really wanted to play the instrument, and once I started playing, I couldn't really stop. And at some point, one of the people said, "You might consider stopping playing now, because because he actually said, I might invite you for a beer if you stop." A funny story. I didn't take it personally. It just, people have different interests. So it's all okay. I just find, this statement is also interesting because improvisation is certainly a very personal thing. It's something that you do primarily for yourself, like playing music, to be fair. And it's your own music, it's your own taste, your own history, your own culture. So all the things that come out may not be receivable. People think, what is he playing? What is this? Why do all these things come together now?
But in light of that, saying that it's so personal and that it's very difficult to share sometimes, since you're a teacher, how do you teach improvisation?
Okay, I teach improvisation by repeating motives. So I play motives and the students repeat them. How do I teach monophonic improvisation, monophonic medieval improvisation? I do teach motives in certain modes, which the students have to repeat. And then we learn songs, medieval songs, which we then use to create our own music, our own accompaniment for the pieces, but also our own instrumental pieces, own material, and also improvise new songs with text. So that's for the monophonic part. For polyphonic music, then, as I said earlier, this is much more calculation, knowing the rules, what can be done in which style. And there is also instinct and a lot of ear training that is used in polyphonic improvisation, but it is less instinctive in the sense that your brain works in a different way.
Okay, So today we have a piece written by Baptiste again.
Great.
But it has an open form, so you can continue with improvisation, right? So you just start a piece and then you can improvise. Okay, and it's called, how is it called, Sebastien?
Pluie du 5e mois.
What does it mean?
Rain of the 5th month. Oh, we're in the 5th month.
Oh, hello. Yes.
And it rained today. Wow.
Right.
Amazing.
Everything is
Is
connected.
this a coincidence?
So tell us about your piece.
Why did you write it?
Why did I write it? I was looking... Okay, for this piece, Pluie du 5e mois, I was looking for sort of an ostinato pattern and a bass, which could be the basis for a melody, a melody in the if I say cantus register, this is just the way I think, but it's kind of ridiculous. Okay, and it's not even a bass line. There is it's a pattern that comes back. It's a little bit minimal, I guess. Very modal. It's basically in F Lydian throughout the piece. There's just one section where there's another mode that comes in, which is a Lydian mode on C, but with an occasional B flat, so it creates a little bit of tension, and then we go back to this F Lydian color, which dominates.
So that's the frame of your piece. And what about the melody? I see all these very interesting rhythmical patterns.
Can't tell you why they are like this. I looked for melodic things that combined repetitions of... I looked for melody which included repetitive rhythms combined in different ways. I don't know how to describe music, sorry.
So we are going to play this piece and on the piano.
On the piano.
Yes,
Modern piano. Wow.
About the combination. We should
Yeah.
we should
Oh,
say
yeah.
up and
I mean,
forth.
I think we're premiering a new combination of instruments: vielle, modern flute, and modern piano, which is great.
Yes. So let's see what will happen.
You can play the tone as well.
Okay. But this is it. Okay.
Très legato.
Okay.
Puis voilà. On essaye une fois. Attention, c'est assez clip. Pas plus vite. always looking for words. What I liked is that we were listening to each other, and that's the most important criterion for this sort of playing. That
Interaction.
there's room for interaction, for silence as well, or moments where not much happens, But
Actually, maybe you know him. Actually, do you know Guillaume Bourgogne?
Guillaume Bourgogne, isn't he a conductor?
Yeah, in Montreal, also saxophone player, but he's French, and he teaches like a free improvisation, and he directs the contemporary ensemble in McGill. But I used to do free improvisation with him, and it was so good. And I haven't done it in like a few years now.
Actually, I have no idea about free improv. And
Okay.
could you tell us more about it?
About what
Basics
I did?
of free improv.
I mean, the basics of free improv is freedom. but actually, there's a lot you can do as an ensemble, if you pick an ensemble, to form a sort of symbiosis or some sort of like mental connection that is by either like rhythmic exercises, say, or mostly rhythmic exercises. I think that's actually the most important part. I think is rhythm and like maybe gesture and then silence. Possibly, I mean, maybe that's all music. And the tones can be important, but I think it's actually mostly the shape and form that's the most important.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thanks
Baptiste,
for inviting
coming.
me. Thank you, Darina. See you
Much
soon.
a pleasure. Yes.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
It was amazing. At the end, we shaped a piece.
Yeah, what I enjoyed is that we could feel that I could see that. Talk on the fucking radio. Okay.